Hey folks, this is Sean Wilson. I'm going to deviate from my normal round of MIDI files to explain a lot of important things and to clear up a lot of questions I've been getting over my emails. And what we're going to do is discuss MIDI files. If you have been trying to learn a piece of music, typically there's been three ways to learn anything that you are trying to play on the piano. The first way would be sheet music. Of course, the sheet music would have to exist for that piece, and of course, you'd have to know how to read. And then, of course, the third drawback would be that the sheet music doesn't always catch the some of the subtle nuances and the rhythmic structure of the song, which is more typical in your gospel and some of your jazz songs. The second way that you would learn is to try to learn it by ear, to try to pick it up by ear. Of course, that is time consuming is the first thing with that, but it does develop the ear, but it's time consuming. But then, of course, the second drawback is you may not be able to hear what is going on, especially if the music is more complicated and it's going really fast. It could take you a long time. So that would be the drawback of that method. The third way that you would learn the song would be to have someone show you. The person who taught that song, ideally, I'm sorry, the person who played that song, ideally, would just break it down for you and show you what they did. Of course, that's the best method if you had that. And a lot of people can attribute their musical success to a private coach or somebody who has shown them some things and they have learned that way. Today we will show you how to use MIDI files to greatly improve your piano playing. And I want to make a strong case for using MIDI files in your own learning process. And by the time you're done with this video, you're going to know three things. Number one, you're going to know what are MIDI files and why should you care. I'm also going to look into how I create some of them. I've received a whole lot of questions on this, and I'm one of the reasons we're doing this video today is because I can pump out MIDI files every week, but unless you really know how to use them, they could be ineffective. So we want to make sure that we're using them effectively. The second thing that we're going to look at is once you get the MIDI file, how do you play it? So we're going to look at some things that you can do to play it and to see the notes on the screen and everything like that. And then the third thing we're going to discuss is the best way to use the MIDI files in order to see growth. Okay, so and then after that, I'm going to go through some technical stuff and some common problems that people have emailed me about. All right, so let's get started. We said earlier, up until MIDI files came into existence, the only way to learn something was to either use the sheet music, to listen to it with your own ear, or to have someone show you. So let's do this. I want you to let's go to YouTube, and I'm going to try to find a file here. Corey Henry. We're going to put in Corey Henry, I Love You, because there's a video that I know about here. Here it is. And the first one here by Sebastian. And we're going to go to about minute 640 or so. All right, so we're going to stop here and listen to this 10-second riff. Here we go. All right, that's what we want. Now, let's say you want to do that. So just stick with me. Now, watch this again. Let's listen to it again. We're going to play this song. We're going to play this part. Okay, so that's what we want to do. Now, do we have sheet music for that? I mean, how would we get that? Corey would have to have provided sheet music for it, for us to play it, right? What about ear? What about using your ear? Well, if he's going pretty fast, you would have to have I would say right now, you'd have to have a pretty developed ear to get that. Now, of course, and especially in the jazz area, transcribing is essential. But a lot of people, the ear is not that developed. You kind of have to work your way up. It's kind of like, you know, if you're lifting weights, you don't just start lifting 600 pounds, right? You start with something you can do and you work your way up. So in the same manner, trying to transcribe something that could be above your level could just seem like a exercise in frustration, right? So what do you do then if you can't use your ear to figure that out? Luckily, in this video, you can see his hand. Some people may try to do it that way. Well, the only other thing to do would be to have Corey himself teach you, right? So those are the three methods we had used before: sheet music, ear development, Corey teach you. Well, guess what? I'm gonna show you something real cool. Okay, class with Corey. Let's just do lesson 1. Check this out.
We're going to.
So everybody, this is 6 minutes and 32 seconds till about 6:40. So
Now check this out. This is some weird sci-fi stuff right here. This is you watching me, watching Corey, watching himself. but check it out. Same song, same riff.
listen to it, and then I'm going to play with it, and then I'm going to break it down. It's not stopping. Okay, so here's the chop with it. Okay, here we go.
Now, where would we all be if we had that? If we, you know what, if we all could just get a musician that we're trying to emulate and have them just show us this way, this would be the absolute number one way we would do it if we had that, right? But he has it for this particular song. Let's look at this, and what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and create a MIDI file. Let's create one for just this.
All right, and here's a little breakdown. So basically, I'm playing from C sharp minor, F sus,
You get that D minor,
D minor,
and now you have the G dominant.
and the chop is
Okay, so he's showing us the notes. That's perfect, right? Now, don't forget my bigger picture, what MIDI file is for. But basically, so let's do this. I'm going to create, since he's teaching me this, I'm going to go and try to create this. Let me see if he slows it down.
So
That will decrease my time. So you know a MIDI file is hard if Corey's...
and slower, if I can slow it down, it's
Okay, thank you. Yes, says the whole world, please slow it down.
okay. So you're just gonna have to get that one.
Yeah, yes, we will, because basically, if there's a lick that you're trying to learn, any kind of lick that you want to learn has to be memorized first, right? It has to be heard, then it has to be memorized before you can try to implement it and try to go fancy with it. You got to memorize it first. That's just like memorizing your multiplication tables before you go to calculus, right? You have to memorize it first. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to go put this in a MIDI file, okay, and then we're going to come back. Okay, so I only did the slow version to save myself some time here, but let me explain something to you. There is no kind of software that is going to listen to what he's doing and give me the MIDI files this accurately. Now, well, there is. Let me take that back. Weedy. There's a couple of them. I've tried them, okay, but they're not at this point in time. They're not good. I'm pretty sure that as technology increases, they will get better and put my channel out of business. But right now, there's no way to get these notes from him unless I can play it. So number one, I have to have the hearing ability to hear what he's doing. Thankfully, I can see his hands here, but that's not always the case in every video I do. So I have to have the hearing ability to hear it, and I have to have the ability to play it in real time. Okay, so that means that my my foundation has to be up, my ear has to be up, and of course my fingering has to be down in order for me to get that in real time. So here are the notes. See, if I press this, that's a note. It's a MIDI file. That the MIDI file is just not actually a note. It's a MIDI file. It's data, but it's triggering a note. You can see here that that's a D because the D is highlighted. You can see that that's a B flat because the B flat is highlighted. So when I play a chord on my keyboard, it's going to show up here. That is how the MIDI file is created. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. I'm playing with him now. Okay, now listen. I can tell this MIDI file. I can say to the MIDI file, I'm sorry. Anyway, I could say to this MIDI file, I want you to play the keyboard. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to drag this MIDI file, a copy of this MIDI file, to the bus driver here. Okay, and now this bus driver will trigger the notes here. Okay, so basically now what's going to happen is whatever is here will play this. Corey is not triggering the keyboard here. What is triggering the keyboard are the notes that I played into this software. Okay, so now let's look at it. Okay, go.
I can slow it down. It's
Okay, now let's stop.
So
let's stop there.
That one.
Now, so basically,
back in time, play it again.
Okay, so check it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn. This is the slow version. I'm going to learn when he's doing all the runs and stuff. I'm going to learn that at the faster time. So all that stuff, all that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to sheet music. Okay, so I'm going to change it to sheet music. Then I'm going to play it with him in the faster version because remember, this can be changed to sheet as well. And in fact, let's just do that here. I'm going to open the score. So it looks like this. Cut this one off. But remember, all of this is the MIDI file. The MIDI file creates all of this. Okay? And of course, it doesn't look, but it'll be enough for me to play this. Okay? So I'm going to play it real time with him now and try to get the faster one. You can see here, this is take 1. This here is take 2. And if you can see here, this has a little bit more information on it, if you can tell, because if you look at these two files, you see the same 4 blocks of chords here, but you can see this one has, and why is that missing information? Because I didn't have all that stuff that he's doing real fast there. I wasn't able to get that the first time around. I had to go learn it and come back and play it with him, and now those notes are there. Okay, so that's data. That's the data that I inputted in from my keyboard, which I then have to take and tell this program to send that data here, which then you get as a MIDI file. But I'm trying to go step by step here. I don't want to go ahead of myself. show you what's going on here. So we got the no. So basically, I have played what he has played, and what I played is here. Not what he's playing. What I have played is what is showing up here. And so let's start this from that point, from the beginning where he starts that.
From C sharp minor, F sus,
Velocity.
E minor.
All this information is here.
And the chop is
Did you see now here this see, he starts playing there. Right there, and mine is late. So part of the MIDI file, and the reason why my MIDI files, I like them to be high quality.
D minor.
So I have to fix this stuff in the edit stage. They're before me. So I have to move these notes over. That's the beauty of having a MIDI file, is that I can change these to make sure that they're, and of course this is really neat because I can see his hands. Well, I'll show you that later. I have to make sure that when he's hitting a note, that's when the note is displaying on the grid. I'm not using beat mapping. See, when he hits that B there, that's a B, right? B, his hand has to be in a B. See, so I make sure that my MIDI files are I try to be as incredibly accurate as possible. Now we don't make 100% perfection, because then I'd be here all day, every day, always finding something wrong. But I do try to make them as accurate as possible.
Okay, so I'll do it in timing one more time. So.
It seems like a double note there that is unnecessary. I don't need that. Wait, what's that? Oh, he does play that. Okay.
And slower if I can slow it down.
Okay, and I already did the slow. Okay, so now you see. Stop. You see what I did. For all those who have questions about how I'm getting these MIDI files, this is what I'm doing. I'm playing it. Now, I'm not going to show myself, get another camera and show you playing it. I just kind of went ahead and did it and came back. So here is the file. So now, what do we do from this point? Well, now we are at our second step. I have to get this file to all the people who are looking for this, who don't have the benefit of Corey sitting down and explaining. In this song, he has done it so that we can, I was trying to prove a point here, but that's not always done. So to have somebody who can pick up this and show it to you would be the benefit of the MIDI file. And so basically what I do now at this point is I go here, I'm going to export as a MIDI file. They're very small file sizes. They're extremely small. So when me watching you watching me, I was just trying to figure out a quick name, but you know, Corey Henry, he has made me glad. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my my desktop. Okay, so that's actually what I do. I export the MIDI file, and now let's take the second step. What happens now? I upload the video, you get the MIDI file now, so we're on our second step of, well, how do I play it? How does this help me? How do I get it? What do I do? So let's go to the second stage. Okay, so now to find a MIDI file, any MIDI file, is as simple as putting the name of the artist and putting the word MIDI behind it. As soon as you do this, you will generally see some MIDI files. Okay, so the name of the artist and put the word MIDI. And as you can see here, the first four are YouTube videos, and it looks as if my channel is on the most of them. I don't know if this one is mine or not. Yes, that one is. All right, so but you can see here's someone who did a MIDI file and a PDF, so probably offering sheet music as well. And then if you go to, again, most times you will go to the person's description area. You see there, that's where full transcription, MIDI. So if I want this song, nice, right? Looks nice. I'm not the only one who does MIDI files. There are hundreds and hundreds of websites and YouTube channels that are doing MIDI files right now. All right, so if I want that, I have to click that. I go to his transcription and I find out where it is. Okay, so, and I'm not familiar with this person's site, so I don't want to really go into it in depth. But here you can see they have a bunch of MIDI files. Okay, so I'm not just here to promote myself here. My point is that you can find MIDI files anywhere. But what I'm going to do is just use mine in particular, okay, because I just created it so that I can kind of show you what's going on. So basically, when you click mine, when you click the one that we're creating today, the link will take you here because I already cut and pasted it. So mine will look like this. Okay, and what I have is the 0 plus, because what I do is, even though I spend a lot of time trying to make sure that you get the highest quality MIDI files that I can do, if you know, for people who still want to do this, who may not have the resources to, I allow them to do that. But I'm surprised at the generosity of the people who are subscribed to me, that I do have a whole lot of people that actually put in what they think is the value of the product. But in this one, let's put in 0. This is a test file. So we're going to put in 0, and we're going to say we want this file. Now, depending on if you're on a computer or if you are on an iPhone or iPad, it's going to act different. And we'll discuss what happens if you're on an iPad. I recommend that you do this on computer. Now, once you put that you want this, it's going to ask you for your email address. Okay, please put in your email address. And then you download it. I wouldn't do open an app. I would download the file. It's going to download to your computer. Now, once you download it, you have several options. Okay, the download file can be opened in several programs. You can open it if you already have Logic Pro or Pro Tools or Sonar or many others, Reason, Ableton. All of them will open MIDI files. Okay. However, and on a Mac, if you double click the MIDI file, it will open up in GarageBand. But I want to show you something here. Okay, so let me open with the GarageBand here and show you. See, here's a MIDI file I created. So it is now, this was what it would look like if you opened it in GarageBand on your computer or any DAW, any digital audio workstation. This is how it would look. You can play it. See, and of course, it depends on what sounds you are using. So this is set for piano. If you didn't want a piano sound, you have to go and change that sound. This is only showing you the notes. So, but in my opinion, and of course you can go, you have to find out in your DAW what it would take to show the keyboard. See, in GarageBand, it just simply says show keyboard. So you can put show keyboard here and make it bigger, and boom, you can see everything there. but it's kind of hard to see. And keep in mind that the audio that Corey was playing with, that has nothing to do with the MIDI file. This is just the MIDI data. Okay, so it's only what I played into the DAW. All right, so this is how it looks, but I think that it would be better using a dedicated program that is made for the purpose of doing MIDI files. And I have looked at a couple, and I'm going to have to recommend at this time. I believe that the Meticulous player from gospelmusicians.com is probably going to be your best bet. And I believe, the reason I'm making that recommendation is because, well, the biggest reason that it is free. He just came out, and I got an email a couple of days ago saying that he was making this free. That was not always the case. So in my opinion, everybody needs to go jump and get this program right now. Because if you, and I'm going to put a link to this program in the description. But Meticulous, it's called Meticulous, and it's 3.0. So it's his new version. He just came out with that. And for him to offer this that he just came out with it, he had to pay a lot of money for this, and to offer it for free, okay, is a big deal. But this is like I said before, using a dedicated app that's sole purpose is to read MIDI data, I think is going to be much better than trying to use a DAW, which you can read MIDI data, but the main purpose of a DAW is for music production and things like that. It's not the sole purpose of it. So you want to use an app that's dedicated to using MIDI files. Now, once you download and install Meticulous on your machine, whether it's a Mac or Windows, it's going to look the same. And here you can see, here's the program. It opened up in the Meticulous player. As soon as I double click the file, this is what happened. It opened up here. Okay, so it's the same file. Okay. Now the neat thing about this is here. This tells you where we are in the time of the song, but here is where the benefit lies with this. Oh, fast forward is here. Not sure how to. Let me see. Can I drag it this way? Yeah, there it goes. Okay, so I can drag that. Okay, so first of all, we want to see the notes on the screen. I don't want to use this piano. I want to use a better piano. So let me scan. I'm going to do, let me use Spectrasonics. All right, I'm going to change this to I'm going to change it to one of my favorite MKS sounds here. Then I'm going to press this down. All right, let me see if this works. All right, now I want the keyboard notes to show, so I'm going to default it. I'm just going to use the default. Now check this out. Here's what's so cool about this. Now, here's where the MIDI file is helpful. Because of this right here, the speed and the pitch. But I would say mostly the speed. Because the speed now will allow you to slow this down. Let's look at it again. See, now we can look at that. It's too fast still. So imagine having someone to break down every single note really slow like that. It enables you to see everything, and that would be ideal. Okay, so, and the neat thing about this is that you can even pause it. As you can see, the chords are all here. Alternate chord names are here. You can tell that he spent a lot of time putting this program together. But like I said, I'm recommending it as a free MIDI file player. We're going to put a link to this program in the description. And so what I need you to do, and like I said, I've got instructions for you today. I showed you how I created one. Now I'm showing you how to play it. And all of this is free because I'm giving that MIDI file for free. Jamal is giving a player for free. So you can take this and see exactly how it works. And that's what I'm wanting you to do. So you can get comfortable with it, play around with it, and kind of get familiar with the program, get familiar with how MIDI files work. Okay, and then the idea is that then you would go and you would search for other MIDI files and maybe you can find some others that you like. But for now, this is how you would play it. This is how to get the notes to light up on the screen. There are other MIDI file players as well. They're very good MIDI file players. So I'm not saying that his is the only good one, but so far that I can tell, his is the best one that is good. That is also free. Okay, so that will be my number one recommendation for playing the MIDI files at this time. So the third thing, what is the best way to use the MIDI files in order to see growth in your own playing ability? And you know what's funny? Some of you still would not grow, even if you had even if you had the musician to show you everything. And the reason why is because a lot of people, it's human nature to want a shortcut, And one of the things that you realize when he's doing this song is that it has to be memorized. At the end of the day, it's just something that you just have to get down and memorize. There is no shortcut to memorization. Now, if you can pick something up by ear, obviously that's going to be the best method. But if you're having trouble with that, or you have time, you don't have the time, then when you go to my channel, so here's what I want you to do. You go to my channel, try to find a video of because at this point we have lots of stuff up here and it's only going to grow. So you want to find out what you're trying to play. So if you're trying to play My Funny Valentine, don't focus on 50 million YouTube videos, okay? Don't focus on 50 million videos. We must remain focused and remember our goal. That things are, piano is learned a step at a time, a note at a time. You don't just look at the big picture and say, well, I can't play that. I can't play like this person. I can't play like that. No, it's a note. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's brick by brick. It's note by note. So my suggestion to you is that when you get this MIDI file, let me bring Meticulous back over here. When you get the MIDI file, what you need to do is isolate the passage of music that you most want to do. And then what I want you to do is memorize that passage. Okay? Now, let's try to find the passage that I like here. No, I don't like that one. I know it's the same thing. I don't like... That's the one that he had to start over. I'm going to wait till he does it the slower one. Let me slow that down. It looked like it happened right about, oops, not volume, right here. What we're going to do is we're going to take a really, really small phrase and we're going to take very careful and methodical steps to memorize that phrase first. Okay, so here's the phrase here. Oh no, starting from it was at minute 58 here. So let's go to 58. That's the part that I liked. That's the part I want. So, and I can see it on the keyboard. It's right there. Okay, let me try it again. 58. Bring the speed up just a tad bit. Play it faster. So I copy that phrase. So let me pull chordy up here. Chordy is me. MIDI file is over here. Okay, so good. All right, so here we have the MIDI file. Stop. Okay, I don't need to memorize 2 minutes of the song. Now, that's memorized. Okay. I should try to do it in other keys too. Right? Or F. Okay, so now I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm feeling pretty confident that I have that lick. So now I got to worry about my context. So when is he doing it? Let me see. So, and then he's using it. I would say he's using it on that D minor, and then he's going to that G dominant, and I think where he would be using it, and where I'm gonna say I'm hearing it best would be. Hear that? That seemed like it would be the good context for when he's using it. Although, he's not playing notes in the left hand, so I'm using contextual information at this point to gather that. But basically, so now, good, I've got a context now, right? But now I don't know it unless I can play it in other keys. So now I got to try it real slow. See that C minor? That would be the F, yeah. And I keep wanting to play an F sharp. Let's try to do the lick in B, which would be. Okay, good. I kind of know that I'm kind of in my head. I kind of have myself thinking that I'm going up in a diminished progression here. Going a half step down, going back down, and then going up to the that second note in the diminished chord and doing a chromatic walk down from there. Right, good. And I also kind of know that I'm starting off with the minor of the key of the first note that I'm playing, so I know that that's a B minor here. Okay, and then I also know that I'm going up 4 to the dominant there, so I know I'm going to be doing that. So then most likely then I'm going to be playing. See how that works? And there I have it in another key. I have to be able to do that in different keys. Okay, and again, and because I'm learning this lick and I'm willing to put it out there online to show you, that's how I would kind of look at it, And I would basically practice that little phrase in every key until I felt comfortable with it, that I had that phrase. That everyone wants to sound good in the practice room, but if we're really attacking our weaknesses and our points, because everybody has points that they need to work on, then it's going to take some slowing down and trying to figure stuff out. Right? So if you only practice those things that you're good at, you never get better. And so that was the point of me doing this, to show you that I would just isolate it. And the other thing I would do, this thing has if I start on 58, I can press loop point and press I, but I like using it here. Just punch in and then play a little bit of it. Stop, punch it out. So now that's the part that I'm wanting. So now it's right here. The neat thing about that is, if I double click that, it's just looping it now. And I can slow that down I could play with him. Right? And keep doing it over until I get comfortable with it. Add a left hand. That F is getting on my nerves, but anyway. Now let's change the key. Yeah, okay. Okay. Ah. And I will play that until I'm real comfortable with it. Then I'm going to go to my next key. Where is that? Okay. Okay, anyway, you get my point. I don't I don't know it unless I can play it over and over. And honestly, this is way faster than I should be doing it. If I was really in the real deal practicing, I would do it probably at 25, and because I'd want to be able to play without stopping. A lot of music advice says that you should really practice things slowly because then you have time, your brain has time to grasp the concepts of it. But anyway, so that's that step. So we've played it, we've memorized it, and memorizing it is the first step. Next step up from that would be application. So where would we apply something like that, right? Where would we apply that run? Let's now I didn't set the key correctly here. So this key is relative to whatever the starting key was. So that does help me that we've gone up to being in D major. I need to put it back in the original key. But let's say you did say "Oh, give thanks," right? Let's take it in B. And then check it out. What if you did right there? Because that's the run we just learned, right? So let's go slow. Right here. Right? That would be a phrase that you can use it. Now, let's say that now that I know that I could use it there, and then now I need a left-handed chord, and then you can even have that dissonance there. You can even have that minor second. So now that I know I can use it there, it kind of opens it up to So I know that I can use it at something like that. So basically, my point is that once you memorize it and you memorize it and you memorize it, then you just try to, it's up to you to figure out where you think you could best use that phrase. But you don't want to just memorize something and leave it alone. You want to try to memorize it and you want to try to find some kind of appropriate application for it. So we have shown you 3 things today. We have shown you what MIDI files are and why you should care about them, because we said that they're basically the next best thing to having the actual musician sit down and show you what he did. Of course, that you do have to find quality MIDI files, and with my channel, I had been charging, people had been offering, I would say around $75 an hour to do a personal MIDI file, which I don't anymore because I don't have the time. So you're kind of limited as far as my MIDI files to what I choose to do. But by doing it that way, we can offer it at a lower price point to you. But that's why you should care about the MIDI files. And when you do find a quality MIDI file, it is worth its weight in gold. I would definitely get it. Secondly, we said, how do you play them? So we kind of discussed how you would play them, that you would use Modiculous. The extension of a MIDI file is MID generally, so you do want to make sure that if you get a MIDI file, it has that extension on it, the MID extension. And then, of course, we ended with the best way to use them in order to see some real growth. And hopefully you're going to go with these principles and use these as you implement my MIDI files or the MIDI files of other people, that is the way that you would best use it. Now, I want to just go over some common problems, but as far as everybody else, the video is finished. Though, if you can stick around, if you want to just kind of discuss some of the problems we have dealing with MIDI files, some technical issues, I'm just going to go over those real quick. So I'm going to put some questions on the screen, and we'll run these real quick. All right, so let's go through these. Okay, so the first one. Okay, my MIDI file is blank. That may be, it may appear blank because let's use the example of Corey, the Billie Jean solo that he did with the orchestra. Now, when you first get that song, if you notice, you see the orchestra was performing for a long time before the solo came in. So it could look as if there's nothing there, and when you get your MIDI file, you'll just see blank because it will appear as if there's nothing there, but in reality, the orchestra started, wow, all the way on measure. Well, not the orchestra. His solo started on measure 171, so that's a pretty long time for that orchestra to start. There are some logistical reasons I've done that. Some people have wanted me to start from the beginning and just move it over, but there are people who are trying to line it up with the beginning of the song. And so it's lined up with the beginning of the YouTube video so that when it comes in at that measure, you'll know when it happens. So, and because this didn't start from the beginning, that's the reason it will appear that it's blank. So my advice to you would be, if you think it's blank, just zoom out in your DAW. If you're using a DAW, just zoom out and make sure, as you can see, it eventually will appear. But it is definitely not blank because I export the MIDI that I play. Sometimes I don't see the whole song. Well, this song is a perfect example of that. With the Billie Jean song, we didn't do the whole song. We only did this part of the song. So all we did was a solo part of the song. And so the best thing to do, in my opinion, would be to, when you look on the screen and you see Cordy playing, whatever you see, that's not playing now. Whatever you see Cordy playing, whatever you see him playing, is what is contained in the MIDI file. So if the notes are lighting up, then you know that is going to be in the MIDI file. If the notes aren't lighting up, because sometimes like at the end I'm talking and you see the notes stop, that is where the notes stop. So it's actually showing you what is located in the MIDI file by watching the screen light up. So that way you know. If it's lighting up on mine, it's going to light up on yours. MIDI doesn't sound like yours. I'm assuming you mean when you get your MIDI file, it doesn't. But you have to remember, I don't know what instruments you have and what kind of sounds you're using on your computer. They're going to sound on your computer, just based on whatever instruments you have set up on your computer. I can show you now. Let me show you another one, Brandon Coleman's. I want you to hear his and mine. Okay, he's using a really nice piano here. Let's see here. Okay, now let me pause it real quick and then adjust something real quick with the driver settings. What I have here is I'm going to isolate both. I'm going to show you both. He's playing on a real live grand piano. So, obviously, there will be a difference in sound quality. But if we're referring to the notes themselves, I'm going to let you be the judge. Okay, so here is him playing. So I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to mute what controls the notes on the screen. And he's in the first one. So here's him. Can you hear that? Hold on for me. Let me make sure that this is okay. I guess it's playing. I'm not hearing it on my computer very well. All right, let me try that again. All right, so that's him. Now you're going to hear me. I'm going to mute him. I'm going to unmute my instrument and unmute Cordy so that you can see what I have played. Not sure if you can see that well, but all right, so here's mine. Oh gosh. Anyway, I'm sorry for the screen problems, but I think you get the point. As far as your ear can tell the difference. I will say this there. I'm not able to use, well, I am able, but I don't really use a sustain pedal when I'm playing. I found a lot of problems with it, with the MIDI files when I do that. So sometimes you may see notes cut out short or something like that. If there is no, because I have to hold them to imitate the effect of the sustain pedal sometimes, and so small things like cutting out the notes shouldn't affect still the actual chord quality and the playability of the MIDI file. So like I said there, that was a perfect example. And of course, if it's a full band playing and I've isolated one sound in the band, then of course it's not going to sound the same because you're only playing the MIDI file that pertains to the instrument that I transcribed. You just have an iPhone or iPad or Android phone, something that is not a computer. I've already mentioned that the best way to, if you're going to be working with MIDI files, that you need to invest in a computer, MacBook or a PC or something that like a desktop computer or laptop. In my opinion, that would be your best bet. However, if you only have an iPhone and or iPad, it can still be done. However, you will need to spend some money on an app. And if you have an Android phone, then it's the same thing. You have to go to the Google Play Store, find an app that allows you to play MIDI files. I know on in my opinion, the apps that are used to play MIDI files on all these different devices that I'm talking about aren't as great. They definitely don't compare to the ones you would get on a PC like Ridiculous, but I mean they'll do the job. I think Piano 3D on the iPhone, Music Studio. I think that one costs $15. You're gonna spend some money, but they can play the MIDI file. They can allow you to open it from your iPhone and then see the notes on the screen as well. There was one that I had reviewed on my channel. I believe that one is no longer available. It is discontinued. So I'm really not impressed, to be honest with you, with the offerings that a lot of the mobile devices have for MIDI. But my hope is as MIDI becomes a little bit more mainstream and popular, then those things will come out more. But hey, we're on the cutting edge, right? So it just means that we don't have as many. It's hard to find compatibility a lot with the phones right now, but I'm sure that will change later. Bo is messed up. You can't slow it down. Y- Um, let me sometimes, okay, let's go back to the Corey Billie Jean song. So, and I'm going to address the beat mapping because a lot of people ask if I use beat mapping in order to keep everything in time and keep it in line. So, and the answer is it depends. Most of the songs actually do not use beat mapping, and the reason why I don't is because the beat mapping tends to take away from the humanness of the performance. Because when the person was performing, they weren't performing fully quantized, and so I kind of, and I said this in one of my other videos, I try to capture the nuances, the mistakes, even, so that all of that is captured. And if it's perfectly quantized, it doesn't sound that great sometimes. However, I'm not sorry, it does sound great. It doesn't sound as human is what I meant. However, the if I do choose to use beat mapping, then it's usually because of the timing issues that I'm trying to fix with the MIDI file. Corey Billie Jean is a perfect example because I did use beat mapping here. And the way that you can tell, at least in this program, is if I were to click down here and look at the tempo track, you can see that the tempo is all over the place. That's good for me because it helps keep me in time. For instance, if I'm playing this, and let me just isolate me and the orchestra. If you notice, everything sounds real. It sounds real tight and clean, right? And so I was able to get that by basically using the process called beat mapping. And those of you who know what this is, you know what I'm talking about. The problem is though, since the tempo, if you notice up here, if you look at the tempo, it's not one tempo. The tempo is constantly changing, which is a problem for you because how do you slow down a tempo that isn't constant to begin with? So what you're going to have to do, if you have this problem, because I did get one or two emails about this and the changing tempo and how to deal with it. What I would do is go into your DAW. Now this one you would have to do from your DAW, and you would need to go in, select the tempo, and just delete it. See, now it's at one tempo. It's still the same song. See, it's still the same thing. The only difference now, though, is it's not exactly lined up to the video. But for you learning it, this is all you need. Because at this point, you can see the tempo is 95. I can easily bring that tempo down to, see that? I'm bringing it down to 50. Now it's slower. And then, of course, you can show those notes on the screen. So, okay, so that is how you would work with a MIDI file that has a variable speed for your metronome, for your tempo, and you can still delete the tempo data and still still do it that way. So hopefully this answers all of your questions. If you have any more, please let me know in the comments. I'll go over there now and you can ask me over there.
Okay, so I'll do it in timing one more time. So.